A father heard his son celebrate, stealing from him. On March 18th, at exactly 2:47 in the afternoon, my phone rang. It was my son Marcus. I answered, said hello, heard nothing. Just silence. I was about to hang up when I heard his voice in the background, distant but clear. "Jessica, we did it! I drained Dad's accounts." My hand stopped halfway to the disconnect button. 80 grand! Old fool signed everything, thinking it was for medical bills. I set my coffee mug down carefully. My hand was shaking, but my mind was cold and clear. "We're going to Cancun, baby. Old man's money, our vacation." They were laughing, celebrating. My son and his wife, talking about stealing from me like it was a game they'd won. My name is Gabriel Wright, and I'm 72 years old. If you're watching this, please subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. But let me start from the beginning, because what my son didn't know is that phone call was about to cost him everything. For 6 years, my son Marcus thought he knew exactly who I was. A poor old man, financially illiterate, someone who needed his help understanding the modern world. He wasn't entirely wrong about the appearances. I drive a 2008 Toyota Camry. Silver, 186,000 miles on it. The paint's faded. The dashboard's cracked. It has an AM/FM radio and nothing else. No Bluetooth. No backup camera. Just a car that gets me where I need to go. I live in a 2-bedroom rental at 445 Desert Bloom Lane in the Phoenix suburbs. $950 a month. Small kitchen, older appliances. It's clean and it's enough. Every Sunday I clip coupons. I have a red accordion folder with labeled tabs. Groceries, household items, restaurants I'll probably never use. I shop at Aldi. I drink Folgers coffee. My watch is a Timex with a scratched crystal. I've worn it for 22 years. I'm a widower. My wife Sarah died 5 years ago from cancer. I nursed her through the final year. The treatment costs were manageable because we'd saved. Always saved. I'm a retired postal worker. 38 years with the service. My pension is $2,100 a month. I live comfortably, but carefully. To Marcus, this meant I was barely getting by. It meant I needed his advice, his patience, his condescension. Let me give you 2 examples of what I mean. 8 weeks ago, Marcus and Jessica invited me to their house for dinner. It's a beautiful home. Large kitchen with quartz countertops. Sub-zero refrigerator. Open floor plan. Jessica was cooking something she called Tuscan chicken from a HelloFresh box. At some point, I mentioned that ground beef had gone up to $6.50 a pound. Marcus laughed. "Dad, you need to shop somewhere other than discount stores." Jessica was on speaker with a friend. "Gabriel's sweet, but so old school. Doesn't even have email." I said nothing. Just ate quietly and thanked them for the meal. 3 weeks ago, I stopped by Marcus's office. He works for Pinnacle Property Group. He's a real estate agent. I just wanted to drop off a birthday card. He was on the phone with a client. He gestured for me to wait. His coworker Jake walked by and asked if I was a client. Marcus wrapped up his call. "No, that's my dad. Retired postal worker. Doesn't really understand real estate stuff." His tone was patient, like he was explaining me to a child. I left the card on his desk and walked out. Despite all of this, I kept helping him. I'd paid his college tuition in full. Arizona State, $68,000 total. I gave him the down payment for his first car, $8,500. I paid for his wedding, $22,000. Over the years, Marcus asked for loans. Temporary, he always said. $15,000 that was never repaid. I didn't push it. He's my son. But I'd started noticing things. He and Jessica lived beyond their means. Marcus drove a Tesla Model Y, white. Performance package, $68,500 price tag. Jessica wore Ferragamo heels, $850 a pair. They ate at expensive restaurants in Scottsdale. His real estate commission shouldn't cover all of that, not with the market being what it was. The last time we talked, before everything fell apart, I gently suggested he might want to budget more carefully. He snapped at me. "Dad, you don't understand modern economics." Modern economics. As if being careful with money was outdated. I loved my son. Sarah would have wanted me to keep trying. Blood is blood. You don't give up on family. But I was starting to wonder when family had given up on me. What Marcus didn't know was that I wasn't the fool he thought I was. I wasn't barely getting by. And those Tuesday meetings he always joked about, the ones where he thought I sat around with other old postal workers complaining about the world, they were something else entirely. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The fraud started on March 5th. Marcus came to my house that afternoon. It was unusual. Normally, Jessica didn't like him visiting. She thought my place was depressing, too small, too old. But that day, Marcus showed up alone. He looked serious. "Dad, I need to talk to you about something important." He sat across from me at my small kitchen table and pulled out papers, medical documents, a billing statement with a letterhead that read, "Dr. Andrew Kellerman, Phoenix Cardiac Institute." The diagnosis line said, "Suspected aortic stenosis requiring urgent valve replacement." The cost line said, $80,100. "Dad, I need you to listen carefully," Marcus said. "This is serious." I felt my chest tighten. "But I feel fine. No symptoms." "That's exactly the danger," he said. "It's called a silent killer. Dr. Kellerman says you need surgery within 30 days, or the risk becomes critical." I looked at the papers again. They looked official. Professional printing. Medical terminology I didn't fully understand. "Your insurance won't cover the experimental procedure," Marcus continued. "It's cutting edge. They require prepayment because of your age and the insurance limitations." He showed me an appointment card. "Dr. Kellerman, March 28th, 9 a.m. consultation." I wanted to believe there was a mistake. "Marcus, I should get a second opinion." "There's no time, Dad. We need to move now. I've already spoken with the hospital's billing department." Fear overrode my doubt. This was my son, my own son. He was trying to help me. Over the next 10 days, Marcus brought me documents to sign. Authorization forms, he called them. My hand trembled as I signed. Later, he would use that tremor as proof that my cognition was declining. The transactions happened fast. March 8th. $25,000 withdrawn from my checking account. March 11th, 30,000 more. March 13th, 13,300. March 15th, 11,800 transferred from my savings. Total $80,100. Gone. I kept asking Marcus about the appointment. He kept saying Dr. Kellerman's office would call to confirm. They never did. Let me tell you what was at stake if I stayed silent. The immediate losses were obvious. My visible savings were gone. I had no emergency fund if a real medical issue came up. My pension barely covered rent and basic expenses. I was, by all appearances, broke. But the deeper wounds were worse. If I did nothing, I was confirming everything Marcus already believed about me. That I was a foolish old man, easy to manipulate, too trusting and too stupid to protect myself. If I did nothing, Marcus would do this again, and maybe next time it wouldn't just be me. How many of his real estate clients had he scammed with the same calm voice and fake documents? If I did nothing, I was betraying Sarah's memory. We'd built that nest egg together over 40 years. Every dollar saved from my postal worker salary, every sacrifice we'd made, it represented our life together. And if I did nothing, I was setting a precedent. Next would be my pension, then my few possessions, then my dignity, piece by piece, until there was nothing left but the shell of a man Marcus already thought I was. The breaking point came when I realized something. This wasn't just about money. If I didn't stop him now, I wasn't just losing my savings. I was losing myself. I was becoming the helpless victim he already saw when he looked at me. Sarah used to say that dignity isn't something others give you. It's something you protect. I was about to find out if I had any left to protect. March 18th, Tuesday afternoon, 2:47 p.m. I was in my kitchen folding laundry. The phone rang. Marcus's number. "Hello?" Silence. Background noise. It sounded like he was in his car. I was about to hang up. Then I heard his voice. Distant. Excited. "Jessica, we did it!" "You actually pulled it off?" That was Jessica's voice. 80 grand! I drained Dad's accounts clean." I stood frozen. the shirt in my hands forgotten. What did you tell him? Jessica was laughing. Fake heart surgery. Old fool signed everything. Didn't even ask for a second opinion. Oh my God, your dad is so gullible. My hand tightened on the phone. He doesn't understand money, Marcus continued. Still clips coupons like it's 1975. This'll cover our Cancun trip plus the credit card debt. Does he suspect anything? Are you kidding? He called yesterday asking when the doctor appointment is. I told him it got postponed. He believed it. We're going to Cabo now, not Cancun. Better resorts. Fine by me. Old man's money, our vacation. The sound of a car door opening. The call cut off. I stood there for a long moment. The phone still pressed to my ear. No yelling, no tears, just cold, absolute clarity. I checked my phone log. Call duration, 4 minutes, 18 seconds. Marcus didn't know. He'd pocket dialed me. Complete accident. He had no idea I'd heard every single word. I sat down at my kitchen table, pulled out a yellow legal pad, started writing a timeline. March 5th, Marcus shows fake medical papers. March 8th through 15th, withdrawals. March 18th, confession overheard. I circled one phrase on the pad. Old fool signed everything. Then I got in my Camry and drove to the bank. Frontier Community Bank. I'd been banking there for 32 years. I walked in at 3:15 and asked to see Daniel Morrison. He's the vice president. We've known each other a long time. Gabriel! Daniel smiled when he saw me. What brings you in? Daniel, I need to see my account statements, all of them, and I need to report fraud. His expression changed immediately. I was hoping you'd come in, he said quietly. We flagged those transactions last week. Very unusual pattern. He pulled up my accounts on his computer screen, checking $68,300 balance on March 5th, zero by March 15th. Savings, $11,800, also zero. He showed me the signature authorizations, my handwriting, that slight tremor that comes with age. Gabriel, these look suspicious, Daniel said. Were you coerced? Worse, I said. I was lied to. We spent the next hour going through everything. Daniel printed the statements. Security camera footage showed Marcus entering my house on March 8th, 11th, 13th, and 15th. Exact dates matching the withdrawals. We can file an elder financial abuse report with Adult Protective Services, Daniel said, and with the police. Do it, I said. That evening, my neighbor Linda helped me with something. She's 68, good with computers. I'm not. I asked her to show me Jessica's Instagram account. Posts from March 16th through 18th. Photo of designer luggage. Caption, vacay mode activated with palm tree and airplane emojis. Screenshot of a Cabo resort. Can't wait for this view. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag luxury travel. She'd tagged Marcus. My hardworking husband deserves this. Heart emoji. Comments from friends. You guys are so lucky. How can you afford this? Linda helped me but take screenshots. I printed them. By the time I went to bed that night, I had a folder. Bank statements. Security footage timestamps. A recording of Marcus's confession. Social media evidence. I also had clarity. Marcus thought he'd gotten away with it. He thought he'd outsmarted his old, foolish father. He was planning a vacation on my stolen money, celebrating his cleverness. He didn't know that I'd heard everything. He didn't know that the bank had already flagged the transactions. He didn't know that I'd started gathering evidence. And he definitely didn't know about the manila folder in my safety deposit box. The one labeled property number 3, Marcus. But he was about to find out. The next morning, Marcus called me. His voice was casual. Fake concern layered over guilt. Hey, Dad, just checking in. How are you feeling? I kept my voice level. I'm fine, Marcus. Great. Listen, about that doctor appointment. I'll let you know when they reschedule. No rush, I said. What are you up to today? Tuesday, I have my meetings, he laughed. Oh, right, your coffee thing with the old guys. Have fun, Dad. He had no idea what my Tuesday meetings actually were. For 22 years, every Tuesday, I've followed the same routine. I visit my properties, 6 of them. I check maintenance issues, collect rent from tenants who prefer cash or check, meet with my property manager to review financials. Marcus had seen the evidence of these meetings 100 times. He just never paid attention. There's a wall calendar in my kitchen. Every Tuesday has MTGs written in my handwriting. Marcus saw it at every visit. He assumed it meant coffee at Denny's with retired postal workers. I dressed slightly nicer on Tuesdays. Clean khakis, button-down shirt. Marcus noticed but thought it was just an old man's quirk. Dressing up for his coffee buddies. Sometimes I carry a manila folder to my car. Marcus saw it once and asked what it was. Just paperwork, I'd said. He didn't ask again. What Marcus never understood was that I wasn't just a retired postal worker living on a pension. My wife Sarah and I bought our first rental property in 1998, a small 3-bedroom in Glendale. We used the inheritance from her parents, $85,000. We learned as we went, fixed things ourselves when we could, hired professionals when we couldn't. We treated our tenants with respect, kept rent reasonable, waived payments when people hit hard times. The rental income wasn't much at first, but we saved it, every penny. And in 2003, we bought a second property, then a third, then a fourth. By 2010, we had 6 properties. We formed an LLC, Right Holdings. I'm the sole owner. Sarah died in 2019. But the properties were still there, still generating income, still growing in value. Marcus knew none of this. I'd never told him. I'd never told anyone except my daughter Rachel, and only because she asked directly once, and I don't lie to my children. With Marcus, I'd made a different choice. I watched him change after he became a real estate agent. He started measuring everyone by their possessions, their cars, their houses, their watches. I wanted to see if he'd treat me differently if he thought I had nothing. The answer was yes. He treated me like I was stupid. 6 years ago, when Marcus and Jessica got married, they needed a place to live. They couldn't afford a down payment. Student loans, credit card debt. I made them an offer. You can stay in the Desert Hills house. Marcus said they couldn't afford rent. I said there wouldn't be any rent. Family helps family. What Marcus doesn't remember is the document I had him sign. Simple language, 1 page. Revocable family housing license agreement. Marcus and Jessica Wright, authorized to occupy 1823 Saguaro Ridge Drive as licensees at $1 per month. Agreement terminable upon 30-day notice for breach of trust or elder abuse. Marcus barely looked at it before signing. Sure, Dad, whatever you need. I put that document in my safety deposit box, right next to the deed showing that I own 1823 Saguaro Ridge Drive, property number 3 in my portfolio. On March 19th, I called my attorney, Robert Sullivan. He's managed my real estate LLC for 18 years. Robert, I need to meet. It's about Marcus. What happened? He stole $80,100 from my accounts. I have proof, and I need to evict him from Saguaro Ridge. There was a pause. The house you've let him stay in for free? The house I own, I said, that he's lived in without paying for 6 years. I'll pull the agreement. See you Thursday. I hung up and looked at my Tuesday calendar. My meetings weren't about coffee. They never had been. March 23rd, my 72nd birthday. Marcus and Jessica hosted lunch at their house. The house on Saguaro Ridge. The 4-bedroom with the backyard pool. The one they thought was theirs. My daughter Rachel was there with her husband David and their 2 kids. Rachel is different from Marcus. She's never treated me with condescension, never measured my worth by my possessions. The house was immaculate as always. Open floor plan, stainless steel appliances, quartz countertops, everything expensive and spotless. Jessica had made reservations at an Italian restaurant, but wanted me to come over first for cake. I arrived in my Camry, parked on their street. Rachel hugged me at the door. Happy birthday, Dad. Marcus was in the kitchen. Dad drove the Camry. You'd think for his birthday he'd Uber. He said it to David, but loud enough for everyone to hear. David laughed uncomfortably. We sat at the dining table. Jessica's expensive china. Marcus poured wine from a bottle that still had the price tag attached. $85. I drank water. Small talk about weather. Rachel's kids' school activities. Normal birthday conversation. Then Marcus started. Dad, what'd you do this week? The usual. Still going to those Tuesday coffee meetings? Yes. Jessica smiled at Rachel. Gabriel meets with his old postal worker friends. It's sweet. Rachel smiled back. That sounds nice, Dad. Marcus leaned forward. Dad, you ever think about doing something more productive? Maybe volunteer work? I stay busy. With what? You're retired. You've got time. I manage my affairs, I said evenly. Marcus laughed. Affairs? Dad, you clip coupons and watch Wheel of Fortune. Rachel shot him a look. A warning. He ignored it. David tried to change the subject. Gabriel, how's the car running? Fine. 186,000 miles now. See? Marcus spread his hands. This is what I'm saying. You could afford a better car. Just loosen up a bit with your money. I'm comfortable. You're cheap, Marcus said. There's a difference. Silence fell over the table. Rachel stared at her brother. Even Jessica looked uncomfortable. Jessica brought out the cake. Store-bought. Despite her earlier claims about baking. We sang. I thanked everyone. Marcus poured himself more wine. His voice got louder, more expansive. You know what, Dad? I'm going to give you some free financial advice. That's not necessary. No, listen, this is important. He leaned back in his chair. You live like you're poor. You drive a 15-year-old car. You shop at Aldi. You live in that tiny rental. Marcus, Rachel tried to interrupt. I'm trying to help. Dad, you've got Social Security, your pension. You could enjoy life. I enjoy my life. Do you? Or are you just scared of spending money? His voice dropped to what he probably thought was sympathetic. Dad, I'm a real estate professional. I see this all the time. Elderly people hoarding money because they're afraid. I'm not afraid, I said quietly. Then why do you live like you have nothing? Because I don't need much. You don't get it. Frustration crept into his voice. Money is meant to be used, invested, grown, Jessica joined in. Gabriel's generation doesn't understand modern finance. Exactly, Marcus pointed at his wife. Dad, you're probably sitting on what, 30 grand? 40? You could buy a decent car, move to a better place. I'm fine where I am. No, you're not. His face was flushed now, the wine and his self-righteousness feeding each other. You're stubborn, and honestly, it's embarrassing. Rachel stood up abruptly. Marcus, stop, right now. What? It's the truth. I stood slowly, carefully. Thank you for the cake. Rachel touched my arm. Dad, don't go. I'm tired. It's been a long day. Marcus called after me as I walked to the door. Dad, I'm just trying to help you. I paused, turned back, looked at my son sitting in his expensive house, drinking his expensive wine, surrounded by his expensive things. I know what you're trying to do, Marcus, I said. Then I walked out. I heard Rachel's voice through the door as I headed to my car. You're an asshole. Marcus's response was too muffled to make out. Something defensive. Something about honesty. I sat in my Camry for a moment before starting the engine. The steering wheel was old and worn smooth from years of use. The seats had a small tear in the fabric. It was the most honest vehicle Marcus owned. It didn't pretend to be anything other than what it was. I wished I could say the same about my son, but Rachel had witnessed everything. She'd seen how Marcus talked to me, how he publicly humiliated me at my own birthday lunch. When the time came, she would remember this day. March 25th, 10 a.m. Marcus was at his kitchen table, working on his laptop. Jessica was upstairs getting ready for yoga class. The doorbell rang. Marcus opened the door to find a sheriff's deputy in full uniform, Officer Kevin Brennan, according to his badge. Can I help you? Marcus asked. Are you Marcus Wright? Yes? I'm serving you with a 30-day notice to vacate and an eviction complaint. Officer Brennan handed Marcus a stack of legal documents. Marcus glanced at the papers and laughed. There's been a mistake. I don't rent. This is my house. According to the complaint, you're a licensee of this property. The owner is terminating your agreement. Owner? Who? Officer Brennan checked his clipboard. Wright Holdings, LLC. Property owner, Gabriel Wright. Marcus's face went white. What? You have 30 days to vacate. Court hearing April 12th. You've been served. The officer walked back to his car. Jessica came downstairs. What was that? Marcus stared at the documents in his hands. I don't understand. What? These papers say my dad is evicting us. Your dad doesn't own this house. That's what I thought. The first page was a notice to vacate. Official letterhead. Licensees Marcus Wright and Jessica Wright must vacate 1823 Saguaro Ridge Drive within 30 days due to breach of family housing license agreement dated June 14, 2018. The second page was the eviction complaint. Plaintiff Wright Holdings LLC versus defendants Marcus Wright and Jessica Wright. The third page listed the basis. Financial elder abuse pursuant to Arizona Revised Statute 46-456. Fraud. Breach of trust. Attached was a copy of the agreement Marcus had signed 6 years ago, his own signature staring back at him. Terms he'd never bothered to read. Revocable license, $1 per month. Terminable upon breach of trust. Clause 4 was highlighted in yellow. Any act of financial exploitation against owner Gabriel Wright shall constitute immediate grounds for termination. Marcus called me 12 times. I let it go to voicemail. On the 13th call, I answered. Dad, what the hell is going on? My voice was calm. You received the notice. Notice? You're trying to evict us? I'm not trying. I'm evicting you. You can't. This is our home. It's my property. You're a guest. You stole from me. Stole? Dad, what are you talking about? $80,100, March 8th through March 15th. Panic entered his voice. That was for your medical bills. There are no medical bills, Marcus. The heart surgery. There is no surgery. Dr. Kellerman doesn't exist. Phoenix Cardiac Institute has no record of any consultation scheduled for me. I was trying to help you. By creating fake medical documents? By stealing my savings? Dad, listen. No, you listen. March 18th, 2:47 p.m. You pocket dialed me. Silence. I could hear him processing, his breath catching. What? I heard everything. Drained Dad's accounts. Old fool signed everything. Cabo with old man's money. More silence. Longer this time. Dad, I didn't mean... You meant every word. You've been stealing from me for years. This was just the biggest theft. Where are we supposed to go? That's not my concern anymore. We're family. You taught me what family means to you. Now I'm teaching you what it means to me. I hung up. The next day, Rachel called. Dad, Marcus called me hysterical. He says you're evicting him? That's correct. Dad, what happened? I told her everything, the fake medical bills, the $80,100 stolen, the pocket-dialed confession. She was quiet for a long time. Oh my God, she finally said. I should have told you sooner. No, Dad, I saw this coming. The way he talked to you at your birthday. I've been worried for a while. She told me Marcus had borrowed $12,000 from her last year. Emergency car repair, he'd said. Never repaid it. I saw Jessica's Instagram posts about Cabo, Rachel continued. I wondered how they could afford it. I'm sorry you're caught in the middle of this. Don't be sorry, Dad. What can I do? Testify at the hearing if needed, and take care of yourself. Don't lend him more money. I won't. Dad? Yes? That house he's living in, you own it? I own 6 properties, sweetheart. Stunned silence. 6? Your mother and I bought the first rental in 1998, built from there. Does Marcus know? He's about to. March 27th. I met with Robert Sullivan at his office. Robert had documents spread across his desk. Property deeds, LLC paperwork, rental agreements. Gabriel, I've reviewed everything. This is airtight. Good. Walk me through the full picture. I opened my manila folder. Property 1, 3-bedroom in Glendale. $238,000 value. Rented at $1,650 per month. Tenant. Karen Hutchins, a teacher. Property 2, 2-bedroom in Tempe. $195,000. $1,400 per month. Property 3, 4-bedroom in Phoenix, Saguaro Ridge. $438,000. 0 rent. Marcus's house. Property 4, small duplex in Mesa. $312,000. $2,400 per month total. Property 5, 3-bedroom in Chandler, $365,000, $1,850 per month. Property 6, 2-bedroom in Scottsdale, $420,000, $2,100 per month. Total portfolio value, $2,968,000. Monthly rental income, $9,200, not counting property 3, which generates nothing because Marcus lives there. Annual gross income, $110,400, plus separate investment accounts. Mutual funds, bonds, $918,000, plus the checking and savings accounts Marcus stole from, $80,100. Actual net worth, approximately $3.6 million. Robert whistled. Marcus has no idea. He thinks I have maybe $40,000. Why did you hide this from your kids? I didn't hide it from Rachel. She's never asked about money, never treated me differently. Marcus, though. I paused. I watched him change after he became a real estate agent, started measuring everyone by their possessions. You were testing him. I wanted to believe he'd choose integrity over money. He failed. Spectacularly. Robert leaned back in his chair. The eviction hearing is April 12th. I'm also filing an elder abuse complaint with Adult Protective Services and a criminal fraud report. Marcus is looking at felony charges. What are his chances? Of winning the eviction case? 0. Of avoiding criminal conviction, with that recording and bank evidence? Very low. I looked at the property deeds spread across Robert's desk. 22 years of work. 22 years of careful saving and smart decisions. 22 years of treating tenants with dignity and buildings with respect. Marcus thought he could steal from me because I clipped coupons. He thought my frugality was weakness. He never understood that my frugality was the foundation of everything I'd built. Let's proceed, I told Robert. He gathered the documents. Gabriel, I have to ask, are you sure about this? He's your son. He stopped being my son when he celebrated stealing from me. Fair enough. As I drove home that day, I thought about what Marcus was about to face. The eviction, the criminal charges, the public exposure of his fraud. I didn't feel victorious. I felt tired, but I also felt something I hadn't felt in months. I felt like I still had my dignity, and that was worth more than any amount of money Marcus could have stolen. April 12th, 9 a.m., Maricopa County Justice Court. The courtroom was small but formal. Wood paneling, Arizona state flag behind the bench, fluorescent lighting that made everything look harsh and real. Judge Patricia Blackwell presided. She'd been on the bench for 22 years. No nonsense reputation. Fair but firm. I arrived with Robert Sullivan. We sat at the plaintiff's table. Marcus and Jessica sat opposite us with their attorney. Brandon Mills, fresh out of law school, court-appointed because Marcus couldn't afford better. Rachel sat in the gallery behind me. Moral support. Daniel Morrison from the bank was there as a witness. So was Karen Hutchins, my tenant from Property 1. Marcus looked terrible. Poorly fitted suit that needed dry cleaning. Dark circles under his eyes. Jessica kept wiping her eyes with a tissue. Judge Blackwell called the case. Wright Holdings, LLC versus Marcus Wright and Jessica Wright. Eviction proceeding combined with elder abuse complaint. Mr. Sullivan, present your case. Robert stood. Your Honor, in June 2018, Gabriel Wright allowed his son Marcus and daughter-in-law Jessica to occupy his property at 1823 Saguaro Ridge Drive under a revocable family housing license agreement. He projected the document on the screen, Marcus's signature clearly visible. The terms were simple, $1 per month, revocable upon breach of trust. Elder abuse immediately voids the agreement. Marcus's attorney stood. Your Honor, my client believed this was a gift. Judge Blackwell looked at Marcus. Did you sign this document? Yes, but does it clearly state revocable license? I didn't read it carefully. It was my dad. That's not a defense, Mr. Wright. Continue, Mr. Sullivan. Robert submitted the 6 property deeds, all showing me as owner. LLC formation documents from 2003. Property tax records showing I'd been paying for 22 years. Mr. Wright, the judge addressed Marcus, did you believe you owned 1823 Saguaro Ridge? Marcus deflated visibly. I thought maybe eventually. That's a no. Did you pay rent? No. Did you pay property taxes, insurance, or maintenance? Dad said he'd handle it. So you contributed nothing to a property you knew your father owned? Marcus's voice was barely audible. No, Your Honor. Robert called Daniel Morrison to the stand. Daniel testified clearly, professional, factual. I've known Gabriel Wright for 32 years. He's one of our most financially responsible clients. March 8th through 15th, we flagged unusual withdrawal activity. $80,100 total. Security cameras show Marcus Wright entering Gabriel's residence on all 4 transaction dates. What made the transaction suspicious? Robert asked. Gabriel typically withdraws $400 to $600 monthly for expenses. $80,000 in 1 week is unprecedented. Marcus's attorney objected. My client was helping his father pay medical bills. Robert pulled up the fake medical document on the screen. Your Honor, this is the billing statement Marcus showed Gabriel. Phoenix Cardiac Institute, Dr. Andrew Kellerman. I contacted the institute. No Dr. Kellerman exists. The phone number is disconnected. The diagnosis is medically fabricated. Marcus stood up. I was told by someone. I didn't make it up. Judge Blackwell's voice was ice. By whom? A medical consultant. Name? I don't remember. Sit down, Mr. Wright. Then Robert played the recording. The courtroom went completely silent as Marcus's voice filled the space. 80 grand. I drained Dad's accounts clean. Old fool signed everything, didn't even ask for a second opinion. He doesn't understand money, still clips coupons like it's 1975. Old man's money, our vacation. Jessica was crying openly now. Marcus stared at the floor. Mr. Wright, Judge Blackwell said. Is that your voice? Yes. Did you make those statements? Yes, but nothing. Robert called Karen Hutchins. She was nervous but steady. Mr. Wright is my landlord. I've rented from him for 6 years. Describe his character. Mr. Wright is the most honorable person I've met. When I went through my divorce in 2019, I couldn't make rent for 3 months. He waived it entirely. Told me, family first, pay when you can. I did eventually. He's never raised my rent unreasonably. He treats tenants like people, not income sources. The judge turned to me. Mr. Wright, why didn't you tell your son about your real estate holdings? I stood. Your Honor, I wanted my children to value me for who I am, not what I have. Marcus was becoming materialistic. I thought if he didn't know about my assets, I'd see his true character. You saw it? Yes, ma'am. Judge Blackwell didn't hesitate. This is one of the clearest cases of financial elder abuse I've seen, Mr. Marcus Wright. You defrauded your father using fabricated medical documents. You stole $80,100. You showed no remorse. In fact, you celebrated your crime. She looked at her notes. Eviction granted immediately. You have 15 days to vacate 1823 Saguaro Ridge Drive. I'm referring this case to the Maricopa County Attorney for Criminal Prosecution under Arizona, Revised Statute 46-456. Exploitation of a vulnerable adult, a Class 2 felony. Marcus's face went gray. You're also liable for repayment of $80,100 plus interest and legal fees. The judge looked at me. Mr. Wright, I'm sorry your son did this to you. Your dignity through this process is commendable. The gavel came down, court adjourned. In the hallway, Rachel hugged me tight. I'm proud of you, Dad. Marcus and Jessica walked past us. Jessica wouldn't look at me. Marcus stopped for a second. Dad? No, I said. Not angry, just final. They kept walking. Robert shook my hand. It's done. Thank you. What will you do with the house? Rent it to a family that needs it. Proper lease, proper screening, market rate. That seems fair. I drove home in my Camry, the same car I'd driven for 15 years, the same car Marcus had mocked. It ran fine. It always had. The consequences came fast. April 27th, Marcus and Jessica's eviction deadline. A sheriff supervised the move-out. U-Haul truck, the cheapest size available. Marcus loaded it alone. Friends had stopped helping weeks ago. Jessica's parents flew in from Minnesota. They helped pack. Her mother gave me a cold look as I stood on the sidewalk, watching. "I hope you're proud of yourself." "I'm protecting myself," I said. "That's different." They moved to Jessica's parents' house temporarily, then to a 2-bedroom apartment in a cheaper part of town. Rent, $1,650 per month. A number Marcus had never had to think about before. They'd lost the pool, the 4 bedrooms, the upscale neighborhood, the 2-car garage. The financial wreckage was immediate. Credit cards maxed out at $82,000 in debt. No money for a down payment on any house purchase. All the stolen money had to be repaid. Legal fees, $8,500 for Marcus's attorney. Court-ordered restitution, $80,100 plus $12,000 in interest, plus my legal fees of $6,200. Total, $98,300. The court ordered wage garnishment, 25% of Marcus's income until paid in full. On May 15th, the Maricopa County Attorney filed criminal charges: exploitation of a vulnerable adult, Class 2 felony, fraud, Class 4 felony, forgery of documents. Marcus faced a choice: go to trial and risk 5 to 10 years in prison, or take a plea deal. On May 28th, he took the plea. He took the guilty to the exploitation charge. Sentence: 3 years probation, 500 hours of community service, mandatory restitution, financial literacy classes, no contact with me. If he violated probation, 4 years in prison. The professional destruction was worse than the legal consequences. April 15th, Pinnacle Property Group fired Marcus, effective immediately. Termination for cause: felony charges related to financial fraud. The Arizona Department of Real Estate opened an investigation. Their finding: moral turpitude, unfit to practice. His real estate license was revoked permanently. Marcus tried to find other work, applied for retail positions, denied. Background checks flagged the felony. Car sales, same result. He settled for a warehouse logistics coordinator position, $38,000 per year, down from $85,000 as a real estate agent. Jessica lost her pharmaceutical sales job after a background check revealed her husband's felony conviction. Company policy: her Instagram influencer dreams died. Brand partnerships dropped. Followers abandoned her. She eventually deleted her account entirely. She found work as a substitute teacher, $180 per day. Inconsistent. Their combined household income dropped from $130,000 to $52,000, a 60% reduction. The social consequences were devastating. Jessica filed for divorce in August. Court documents cited husband's fraud caused financial and reputational harm to wife. The divorce gave her 60% of their shared assets. Marcus got the debt burden. Rachel cut contact with Marcus completely. Her kids, Marcus's niece and nephew, no longer see their uncle. Extended family sided with me after hearing the full story. Aunts, cousins, second cousins. Family gatherings no longer included Marcus. Former friends stopped inviting him to events. The social life he and Jessica had built evaporated. Marcus lives alone now. 1-bedroom apartment, works his warehouse job, comes home to silence. He tried to text me once. "Dad, I'm sorry, can we talk?" It was a probation violation. Court orders specified no contact. Rachel forwarded the message to his probation officer. Marcus received a formal warning. Meanwhile, property number 3 got cleaned and repaired. Minor fixes. Fresh paint. I listed it for rent. New tenants moved in 3 months later. Young family, 2 kids, stable jobs, good credit. They pay $2,800 per month. Market rate. Standard 12-month lease. Proper screening. My portfolio still generates income. $12,000 monthly now that property 3 is productive again. $144,000 annually. I still live in my 2-bedroom rental. $950 per month. Same place, same modest life. People ask why I don't upgrade, why I don't buy myself something nice. I don't need a big house. Never did. Money isn't for showing off. It's for security. and for helping people who deserve it. I gave Rachel a down payment gift for her family's first house, $35,000. I set up education funds for my grandchildren, $20,000 total. I still follow my Tuesday routine. Property inspections, coffee with my property manager Bill, checking on my tenants. Quiet, dignified, unchanged. 1 year later, I ran into Marcus once. Pure accident. Grocery store parking lot. He was getting out of an old Honda Civic. Worn clothes, tired eyes. He saw me, froze. I nodded once, kept walking. He didn't try to follow. Some people would call what I did cruel. They'd say I destroyed my son's life. That family should forgive anything. They didn't hear him celebrate stealing from me. They didn't hear him call me an old fool. They didn't watch him publicly humiliate me at my own birthday lunch. Marcus didn't lose a father because I evicted him. He lost a father the moment he chose theft over truth. I simply stopped protecting him from his own choices. March 18th, 2025. Exactly 1 year after the phone call. I'm sitting at my kitchen table, same yellow legal pad in front of me. Same pen. Tuesday morning, getting ready for my property visits. I think back to that moment, Marcus's voice coming through the phone. I drained Dad's accounts. A year ago, I had a son who saw me as a fool. Today, I have clarity. People ask if I regret being hard on Marcus. I don't. I regret not setting boundaries sooner. Generosity is beautiful, but generosity without respect isn't love. It's enabling. Marcus didn't lose a father because I evicted him. He lost a father the moment he chose theft over truth. What I gained was my dignity, my self-respect. My relationship with Rachel is stronger than ever. I still see my grandchildren. My finances are protected. What Marcus lost was everything he took for granted. Career, marriage, family, respect. His freedom is conditional on good behavior for 3 years. He destroyed himself. I simply stopped protecting him from the consequences of his choices. If you're watching this because someone you love has betrayed you, I want you to know something. Setting boundaries isn't cruel. It's necessary. For 72 years, I believed family meant endless forgiveness. But forgiveness without accountability isn't mercy. It's permission. Marcus thought my frugality was weakness. He saw my generosity as stupidity. He mistook my quiet life for poverty. He never understood that real wealth isn't what you show. It's what you build in silence. Real power isn't loud. It's the calm decision to protect yourself. I didn't enjoy evicting my son. I didn't enjoy the court hearing. I didn't enjoy any of it. But I'd rather live with the pain of setting boundaries than the shame of letting him continue. Some people will call me cold. They don't know what it's like to hear your child celebrate stealing from you. They don't know what it's like to be called a fool by someone you sacrificed everything for. I'm not a victim anymore. And that's worth more than any reconciliation built on disrespect. My wife Sarah used to say that dignity isn't something others give you. It's something you protect. She was right. I protected mine. If this story resonated with you, I'd appreciate if you subscribed. Share this if you know someone struggling with family boundaries. They're not alone. And if you're someone who's taken a parent's kindness for granted, it's not too late to change. But change requires honesty, not excuses. Thank you for listening. My name is Gabriel Wright. I'm 72 years old. I drive a 2008 Toyota Camry. I clip coupons. I live simply. And I'm no longer the fool my son thought I was.